Welcome to today's special story. A heartfelt journey of a young man named John, who discovered happiness not just in grand achievements but also in the simplest moments of life. Have you ever wondered what truly makes us happy? That's the very question John answered on his journey, where challenges and trials turned into invaluable lessons. Join John as he navigates through humble tasks, meaningful relationships, and the profound beauty of simple values. From a small village to extraordinary encounters, this story will offer you insights into luck, perseverance, and love. Ready to dive in? Let's embark on this captivating journey together and uncover the secret to finding luck in every step. In a small village nestled between sprawling green fields and majestic mountains, there lived a young man named John. Kind-hearted and always willing to help those around him, John led a simple life filled with the daily struggles of existence. Yet, deep down, he felt the absence of something greater, something he couldn't quite define. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the trees and kissed the earth, John woke to the sound of roosters crowing across the village. He would open his bedroom window, breathing in the crisp air laced with the scent of fresh grass and blooming wildflowers. Then, he'd join his mother in the kitchen to prepare breakfast. Their meals were humble steamed rice with braised fish or stir-fried morning glory with garlic, but they were always infused with the warmth of family love. After breakfast, John spent his mornings helping his father in the fields. Farming was hard work, but it brought the family closer together. Each afternoon, under the scorching sun and oppressive heat, they would till the soil, plant seeds, and water the crops. As John toiled, he often felt an intimate connection with nature, a sense of belonging to the earth and sky. Yet, there was an emptiness within him that even the most beautiful days could not fill. Life seemed to revolve solely around making ends meet and maintaining their way of living. Outside of work, John participated in village activities, from lively festivals to folk music gatherings. He had a close-knit group of friends, and together they played soccer, laughed, and shared their youthful dreams. But even amidst the joy, John felt a fleeting sadness. His grand ambitions and unspoken aspirations never found a voice in the simplicity of his village life. Each night, as he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, John's mind wandered to the future. He longed for adventure and yearned to explore the world beyond the borders of his tiny village. He dreamed of traveling, meeting new people, and learning about different cultures. But his current life consumed all his time and energy, leaving him unsure of how to turn those dreams into reality. It was a simple life, but John's heart remained restless. The sense of incompleteness gnawed at him, making it impossible to be fully content with what he had. He needed to find his own path, a path that would allow him to chase his passions and embrace the vast possibilities he envisioned. But where to begin? As Chapter 1 comes to a close, John's quest for change has only just begun. Ahead lie challenges, heartbreak, and perhaps even miracles, waiting to shape the story of a young man daring to dream beyond his ordinary world. One crisp April morning, as warm sunlight filtered through the treetops, John found himself weighed down by a restless mind. The routine of farming, simple meals, and evenings filled with quiet conversations no longer seemed enough to satisfy him. He needed space to think, to reconnect with himself. John decided to take a walk into the forest, a place he often visited to find peace. The woods, not far from the village, felt like a magical haven filled with the sounds of nature and the scent of greenery. He strolled leisurely along shaded trails, listening to the cheerful chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves as the breeze passed through. As he ventured deeper into the forest, John felt an extraordinary sense of detachment from the burdens of daily life. He marveled at the blooming wildflowers and the vibrant green leaves, his heart filling with tranquility. For a brief moment, thoughts of inadequacy and his longing to explore the world were set aside. After walking some distance, John unexpectedly ran into his childhood friends James, Michael, and Emma. They had shared countless joyful days growing up in the village. Seeing one another, they greeted each other with laughter and cheers. The group decided to explore the woods together, swapping stories about their lives and dreams. Sitting beneath a large tree, the friends began to share their aspirations. James, his eyes gleaming with excitement, spoke of his dream to become a famous soccer player. Michael, with a determined look, expressed his desire to be a scientist and push the boundaries of technology. And Emma, beautiful and sharp-witted, revealed her ambition to travel the world and become a writer. John listened intently, his emotions swelling with a mixture of admiration and hesitation. He wanted to share his own dreams, but seeing the passion in his friend's eyes made him question himself. Are my dreams too ordinary? He wondered. Finally, John gathered the courage to open up. He told his friends about the emptiness he often felt and his yearning to find something more meaningful in life. He spoke of far-off dreams, of his deep desire to explore the world beyond the familiar boundaries of their village. His friends listened carefully. James gave him a reassuring pat on the shoulder and said, "You're never alone, John. Everyone has their own dreams, and we can help each other make them come true." Michael smiled and added, "Exactly. Let's make a plan for an adventure. Maybe not right now, but one day, we'll pursue our dreams together." Their words were like a ray of light piercing through the clouds in John's heart. He felt a warmth and hope he hadn't experienced in a long time. Together, they began to forge a sense of direction for John's lingering doubts, inspiring him to believe that his dreams were not out of reach. Time flew by, and as the sunlight began to fade, the group decided to head back. They promised to create a plan for future adventures together. John felt a newfound lightness in his heart, as though he had gained an ally in life, the steadfast support of true friends. That walk in the woods opened new doors for John, sparking a fresh sense of hope and making his dreams feel less like distant illusions. As he made his way home under the glowing hues of sunset, his spirits soared. Each step forward felt lighter, guiding him toward a future filled with possibilities. After his meaningful walk in the woods with friends, John felt a sense of calm wash over him. The next day, he decided to continue exploring the familiar forest, driven by a curious thought: perhaps there was something special hidden somewhere, waiting just for him. John walked along the winding trails, his heart filled with excitement. The sounds of nature, the chirping of birds, the rustle of leaves in the wind, and the gentle babble of a nearby stream put him at ease. He paused beneath a towering tree, scanning his surroundings for anything new or unusual. Venturing deeper into the forest, John suddenly spotted a small wooden box at the base of an ancient tree. The box was old and dusty, its surface weathered by time. Intrigued, he approached it cautiously. As he opened the lid, a faint, pleasant aroma wafted out, bringing back nostalgic memories of simpler, happier times. Inside, he found a glimmering silver ring. Its unique design featured a brilliant blue gemstone in the center, sparkling like clear water under sunlight. A wave of excitement and curiosity swept over John as he held the ring in his hand. Who had this ring belonged to? What journeys had it witnessed? The ring felt like a mysterious treasure, and as John turned it over in his fingers, a mix of emotions bubbled up: wonder, curiosity, and a touch of unease. He imagined the stories of those who might have once owned it. Could it bring him luck? Or perhaps there was something magical about it, waiting to reveal itself? Sunlight filtered through the canopy, striking the ring and making it shine even more brilliantly. Unable to resist its allure, John decided to slip the ring onto his finger. The moment it touched his skin, he felt a faint jolt, like a small current of energy running through his body. It was as if the ring had connected him to something far greater than himself. The sensation was strange yet exhilarating, filling him with an unexplainable sense of wonder. John turned the ring over and admired it from every angle, feeling slightly silly but not caring in the least. Hope and anticipation filled his heart. Perhaps this ring wasn't just a simple trinket but a catalyst for change, a new beginning in the life he had long wished for. As he left the forest, John's spirits soared. His steps were lighter, as though he had uncovered a piece of himself that had been missing. The ring was more than just an ornament, it became a symbol of dreams and possibilities. When John returned home, he placed the ring on the table and stared at it in thoughtful silence. A growing belief took hold in his heart that his life was about to change. The ring seemed like a sign, a promise of something good on the horizon. Although he couldn't yet imagine how his life might transform, John felt a surge of excitement for what lay ahead. Little did he know, the ring he had just discovered held secrets that would soon lead him into unimaginable adventures and change the course of his life forever. From the day John slipped the gleaming ring onto his finger, his life seemed to turn a new page. Miraculous and joyful events began to unfold, as if the ring had unlocked a door to happiness he had never dared to hope for. Just days after wearing the ring, the village hosted a sports competition, a perfect chance for John to prove himself. Though he had faced defeat in past contests, this time, with the ring on his hand, he felt an unshakable confidence. Determined to give it his all, John signed up for the running race. On the day of the competition, villagers gathered in large numbers to watch. When the whistle blew, John took off like the wind, feeling as though his feet were lighter than air. He surged ahead of his competitors, his heartbeat quickening but without a trace of anxiety. The ring sparkled on his finger like a beacon, as if fueling him with extraordinary strength. Crossing the finish line first, John claimed victory to the cheers and applause of the crowd. Joy flooded his heart. It wasn't just the championship trophy he had earned but also the respect and admiration of his friends and fellow villagers. The triumph filled him with an overwhelming sense of pride and happiness. Buoyed by his win, John returned home elated. Later that evening, he headed to the village's cozy cafe to celebrate with friends. And that's when the unexpected happened. He bumped into Emma, the girl he had secretly admired for so long. She sat with her friends, her radiant smile lighting up the room and making John's heart race. Summoning his courage, John decided to approach her, each step feeling like a battle within. But the magic of the ring seemed to follow him. To his astonishment, Emma had watched the race and was deeply impressed by him. They struck up a conversation, sharing dreams and hobbies. A strange yet wonderful connection began to form, one they had never felt before. In the days that followed, John and Emma started spending more time together. They strolled through the village, sipped tea at quiet corners, and discovered little nooks they had never noticed. Each moment they shared was filled with joy and laughter. One sunny afternoon, by the sparkling brook under the warm glow of the sun, John took Emma's hand and, with a heart full of courage, said, "I'm so happy to have you by my side. Would you like to explore the world with me?" His words were simple yet sincere, coming straight from his soul. Emma's eyes sparkled as she looked at him and nodded. "I feel the same way. I believe we can do amazing things together." Their love blossomed like flowers in the morning light, making John's world more beautiful than ever. He found not only his first love but also parts of himself he had never discovered before. This transformation wasn't just about the ring, it was also about John himself. He had learned to trust in his own abilities and to dream boldly. His newfound perspective on life, love, and aspirations allowed him to shed the cocoon of self-doubt and begin to shine brightly. During this time, John realized that luck wasn't just about external miracles, it also came from within, from the strength of confidence and courage. The sparkling ring became a symbol of the incredible journey ahead, one filled with endless possibilities and adventures waiting to unfold. As John's life seemed to enter a season of prosperity, filled with the joys of his athletic victory and a budding romance, an inexplicable anxiety began to creep in. Although the ring had brought him so much good fortune, the pressure to maintain that luck grew heavier with each passing day. John couldn't shake a nagging thought, "Is the ring the reason for all the good things happening to me?" Doubt began to seep into his mind, and he feared that if something went wrong, if he lost the ring or his luck ran out, his life would spiral back into the dark days of before. One afternoon, while preparing for another sports competition, John felt an unusual heaviness in his body. A strange fatigue and chills overtook him, leaving him uneasy. Unwilling to miss the opportunity to compete, he pushed himself to keep training. But his condition worsened quickly. Within days, John developed a high fever and was confined to bed. During this time, his worries mounted. Not only was his health failing, but missing the competition left him feeling restless and defeated. For the first time, John sensed the ring's magic had faded. The victories and budding love he had cherished now seemed out of reach, and a new fear took root: what if the luck was gone for good? As he lay in bed, John found himself reflecting deeply. Memories of the triumphs he had enjoyed, the moments spent with Emma, and the recognition he'd received painted a beautiful picture, but one that now felt fragile. He began to question whether he had become too dependent on the ring. While it had brought him so much, was it truly the source of his success? One evening, Emma visited him. Her warm smile filled the room, bringing a flicker of comfort to John's troubled heart. She pulled up a chair, took his hand, and asked softly, "How are you feeling?" John bit his lip, struggling to find the words. Finally, he confessed, "I feel terrible, not just because I'm sick, but because I'm starting to doubt everything. What if the ring isn't actually the source of my luck? What if it's all just a coincidence?" Emma looked at him, her eyes full of understanding. "John," she said gently, "luck doesn't just come from something external. It comes from within. You've worked so hard, and your successes aren't just because of the ring. You need to trust in yourself." Her words were like a glimmer of light in John's storm of doubt, but the turmoil in his heart remained. A few days later, during a high fever, John fell down the stairs and broke his leg, a severe injury that left him hospitalized for weeks. This period of hardship brought him face to face with his vulnerability. The ring, once a symbol of power and hope, now seemed like a distant memory, offering no strength in his time of need. As he lay in the hospital, John thought deeply about life. He realized that sometimes, life throws unexpected challenges, and succumbing to fear only makes the burden heavier. He recalled the lessons his friends and family had taught him. Perhaps it wasn't the ring but those moments of connection and growth that held the true value of his journey. When he was finally discharged from the hospital, John made a resolution: he would not let negativity hold him back. He would no longer fear losing his luck but instead stand up and fight to define himself. The ring still rested on his desk, gleaming like a beacon of hope, but now John understood that true strength came from within, from his perseverance and resilience. Returning home, John vowed to start over. He would take the time to heal, rebuild his confidence, and focus on his dreams. No longer would he rely on the ring, instead, he would trust in his courage and determination. Life would go on, and John resolved to pursue his aspirations no matter what challenges lay ahead. After enduring relentless challenges, John began to realize that life wasn't just about chasing luck, it was about seeking a deeper sense of meaning. He decided to embark on a journey, not just to explore the world but to better understand himself and discover the true value of life. John meticulously planned his trip. He dove into research about different regions, diverse customs, and the unique stories of the people who lived there. For John, this journey wasn't merely a physical expedition, it was a spiritual quest, a chance to find himself through the connections he would make along the way. He began his journey in a remote mountain village. Life there was simple, the people relied on farming and livestock for survival. It was here that John met Ava, an elderly woman with a warm heart. She shared stories of her struggles of natural disasters and hardships and how she and her family had weathered those storms together. "Luck doesn't come easily, child," Ava said, her voice rich with wisdom. "Sometimes, it arrives after efforts and sacrifices we don't even realize we're making. The key is perseverance, no matter how tough life gets." Her words struck a chord deep within John. He realized that luck and happiness were often the byproducts of relentless effort and the lessons learned from failure. His next stop was a bustling city where life moved at a relentless pace. There, he met William, a young entrepreneur who had overcome countless obstacles to build his career. William spoke of his failures, dreams that had been crushed, and the invaluable lessons he'd gained along the way. "Every failure is a step toward success," William said, his eyes shining with conviction. "Don't fear failure, it's the best teacher you'll ever have." William's passion and resilience resonated with John, inspiring him to see his own challenges as opportunities for growth. John continued his journey, eventually arriving at a seaside village where fishermen lived simple but fulfilling lives. There, he met an elderly couple, Olivia and her husband, who had spent their lives fishing together. They showed John that luck wasn't solely about wealth or success but about love and unity within a family. "We can't always change our circumstances, but we can change how we face them," Olivia said gently. "True happiness comes from the simplest things." With every encounter and experience, John began to understand that everyone carries a unique story, each holding valuable lessons about life, perseverance, and dignity. He thought about the ring he had once worn, about the wonders it had brought into his life. But now, he realized that true strength and luck didn't come from an object, they came from within, from his persistence and his will to rise above adversity. At the end of his journey, John returned to his village with mixed emotions, but above all, he felt a profound sense of hope. He hadn't just sought luck, he had found himself along the way. The experiences he'd gained and the lessons he'd learned from the people he'd met became treasures he carried in his heart. Now, John understood that luck wasn't something easily attained. It was the result of continuous effort and resilience. Most importantly, it was about gratitude and appreciating the small blessings surrounding him. As he looked toward the road ahead, John resolved to keep searching, striving, and creating his own luck, not just for himself but for those around him. After his journey of self-discovery, John returned to his village, his heart filled with lessons and emotions. But he knew that deeper, more powerful truths awaited him. To truly understand life, John decided to immerse himself in the lives of those facing hardship within his community. Every day, John visited families in need, from those living in poverty to individuals with unique challenges. He began with Mr. David, an elderly farmer who had lost his wife and was raising 3 young children on his own. Their home was a humble bamboo hut with a dirt floor, and their meals often consisted of nothing more than sweet potatoes and vegetables. When John arrived, Mr. David was struggling to harvest his final crop of the season. Despite his exhaustion, he greeted John with a warm smile. "You've come to visit?" "Thank you," he said. John helped with the harvest while listening to Mr. David's stories of hardship. The old man didn't complain about his fate. Instead, he said, "Each day brings its challenges, but for my children, I keep going." Happiness is found in the little moments. Through Mr. David's family, John saw the power of resilience and the love that bound them together. Despite their struggles, they supported one another with unwavering devotion. Next, John visited Ethan, a man with a disability who lived alone in a small house on the mountainside. Ethan's legs no longer carried him as they once had, but his spirit was unbreakable. He had learned to adapt to his circumstances and refused to let them define him. When John asked about his life, Ethan smiled and replied, "My life isn't easy, but there's still so much I can do. I've learned to craft items to sell and teach local children valuable lessons." Ethan's story gave John a deeper understanding of the strength of the human spirit. Even in the face of immense difficulty, dreams and aspirations could still thrive. Finally, John met Mia, an elderly woman who had endured tremendous loss. Years ago, she had lost her husband and children in a tragic accident. Despite her grief, Mia remained optimistic, finding joy in caring for her chickens and tending to her garden. Each day, she rose early to water her plants and nurture the life around her. "When I lost my loved ones, I was devastated," Mia told John. "But over time, I realized that life goes on. I couldn't live in the past, I had to look forward. I turned my pain into the strength to live better each day." Hearing the stories of Mr. David, Ethan, and Mia, John was moved by the resilience and love they showed toward life. These individuals weren't merely surviving, they were thriving, transforming hardship into motivation to rise above their challenges. Standing among these stories, John felt a powerful wave of emotion. He realized that luck wasn't about living an easy life or enjoying external rewards. True luck came from within, from resilience, patience, and the love people poured into life and those around them. It was a lesson John would never forget, and it changed a part of his soul forever. He understood that life would always present challenges, but with the resilience he had learned, he was ready to face anything. And he would always cherish the simple, beautiful moments life had to offer. After a long journey of exploring the world, meeting extraordinary people, and learning from their inspiring stories, John finally returned to his small village. Each step he took back home was heavy with valuable lessons and a new perspective on life. With every stride, his heart brimmed with passion and hope for the bright future ahead. When he arrived, John found that everything remained the same. The lush green fields, the humble houses, and the familiar faces of friendly neighbors greeted him. Yet, for John, everything felt different. He now saw beauty in the simplicity of it all, the resilience of the farmers, the warmth of relationships, and the quiet elegance of everyday life. The golden sunlight bathed the village, and John realized that life wasn't just about what the senses could perceive. It was about the profound connections we share with everything around us. He thought about the ring he had found. Once a symbol of luck, it now seemed like just a piece of jewelry. John understood that the ring could never bring him happiness. It was the values within him that created a meaningful life. Determined to give back, John decided to become a force for good in his community. He began volunteering, helping those in need, and sharing the lessons he had learned throughout his journey. He started a small school for the village children, teaching them not only to read and write but also to dream big and explore the world beyond their village. During his classes, John often reminded the children that luck wasn't random, it was the result of effort and perseverance. The stories from his travels became a source of inspiration for them. He taught them to cherish every moment of life, to take risks, and to always keep learning. Over time, John became an integral part of the community. The villagers began to see the value of unity, compassion, and mutual support. The initiatives John started brought people closer together, creating a warm and resilient spirit of community. John felt happier than ever, not because of the ring or fleeting successes, but because of what he had done for others and the relationships he had built. His life felt more complete now that he no longer sought luck from external sources but instead found it within his heart and actions. Every time he looked at the sparkling ring, he no longer felt anxious or burdened by its presence. Instead, he saw it as a keepsake, a reminder that true fulfillment comes from what he does and the values he pursues. John knew that life would bring more challenges, but he now had the strength and courage to face them. He was ready to continue his journey with an open mind and a warm heart. And so, John's story didn't end there. It opened into new chapters filled with meaning, love, and hope, not just for himself but for everyone whose lives he touched. After returning home and realizing the true value of life, John decided that change wasn't just for himself, he wanted to help those around him, too. He understood that luck wasn't something that came naturally but something cultivated through effort, perseverance, and kindness. With that in mind, John set out to organize activities that would uplift and inspire his community. He began by teaming up with friends in the village to host a local festival. It wasn't just a time for fun and celebration, it was an opportunity to share inspiring stories. John invited people like Mr. David, Ethan, and Mrs. Mia to share their experiences with everyone. During the festival, John stood before the crowd and said, "Each of us has the power to create change, not just in our own lives, but in the lives of others. Let's listen and learn from one another because luck is born from relentless effort and the love we share with each other." The atmosphere at the festival was warm and vibrant, filled with laughter, music, and moving stories. Attendees didn't just listen, they connected. People began sharing their hopes, dreams, and even their fears. For the first time, John felt the full strength of community and the joy of sharing the lessons he had learned. Beyond the festival, John initiated volunteer activities like planting trees, cleaning public spaces, and helping struggling families. He encouraged everyone to participate, emphasizing that small actions could create significant blessings not just for themselves, but for others. With each activity, John reminded the villagers that through simple efforts, they were building a collective fortune. John also started free classes for children and young adults in the village. He didn't just teach academics, he created a space where they could dream boldly and imagine a world beyond the familiar. The classes weren't just lessons, they were conversations about overcoming challenges and chasing aspirations. John encouraged the children to share their dreams, igniting a belief in them that luck would come if they dared to pursue it. Parents began noticing changes in their children and came to John, asking how he had turned his passion into reality. John was thrilled to inspire not just the children but also the parents who were searching for greater meaning in their own lives. The group activities, volunteer work, and classes brought a fresh energy to the village. People started caring more for one another, sharing stories of resilience and determination, and creating a warmer, more connected community. Even the elders joined in, sharing their life experiences with the younger generations, strengthening the bonds across age groups. John realized that luck wasn't some abstract concept, captured in a ring or tied to random moments. Luck was action, it was the ability to share, to help, and to build a better life together. Seeing his community transform, John felt a profound sense of happiness and fulfillment. He understood that he hadn't just found luck for himself but had helped others discover their own. The village wasn't just where he had grown up, it had become a source of pride, a place where people worked together to create a life filled with hope, joy, and meaning. John's journey was far from over, but he knew his actions had made the world around him a better place. He promised to never stop sharing luck, not just with his community, but with himself. Most importantly, he vowed to live with gratitude, always cherishing the opportunities and connections that life offered. As time passed, John's life evolved, shaped by the lessons he had learned and the experiences he had endured. Gone was the young man overflowing with ambition but weighed down by worry. In his place stood a resilient, compassionate man with a deep understanding of life's true value. John's small village had transformed into a vibrant, thriving community. It was no longer just a place where people lived, it had become a hub of shared purpose and collaboration. Volunteer projects, free classes, and regular gatherings continued to bring people together, with John as the driving force behind them all. He was not only a mentor but a source of inspiration for everyone around him. John's days were no longer a blur of routine but a journey filled with meaning. Each morning, he woke up with a sense of excitement and gratitude. He knew life wouldn't always be easy, but his mindset had been forged to see challenges as opportunities for growth. He continued to nurture the children of the village, helping them discover and pursue their dreams. He frequently organized workshops, inviting successful individuals from various fields to share their experiences. Watching the children's eyes light up as they listened to these stories filled John with a profound sense of happiness and pride. He knew he was helping to shape a new generation capable of creating a brighter future. John also devoted more time to his family. Over the past 2 years, he had become a responsible son, regularly assisting his parents with their farming work and taking time to connect with them. His bond with his parents deepened, and he cherished the warmth of their love in every moment they spent together. The pressures of accumulating wealth or chasing fame no longer burdened John. Instead, he found happiness in life's simple pleasures, laughing with friends, sharing meals with his family, and watching the sun set over the fields. He understood that luck wasn't random or fleeting but found in appreciating each moment and every relationship life offered. Despite the trials he had faced, John maintained an unwavering faith in people and the beauty of life. The sparkling ring, once seen as a symbol of luck, now held value only as a keepsake, a reminder of the journey he had taken. John understood that true fortune wasn't something external, it resided within him, in the values he cultivated and the connections he built. John's new life was a journey of purpose. Each day was an opportunity to learn, to give, and to grow. He lived with gratitude for all he had and took pride in the achievements that went beyond himself, touching the lives of his entire community. Most importantly, John had found true happiness, a lasting contentment untethered to superficial pursuits. He knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, the lessons he had learned would guide him, and more importantly, he had become the architect of his own fortune. With this mindset, John continued his journey, his heart wide open, ready to embrace the good that lay ahead, not just for himself but for everyone in the community he called home. In the end, John's journey led him to a profound understanding of life's core values. Every experience, every person he encountered along the way left a lasting impression, lessons of hardship and joy that enriched his soul. For John, life was no longer about chasing luck but about effort, perseverance, and love. The lessons John learned weren't abstract theories, they were lived and felt deeply. He remembered the challenging days of illness and accidents, the confusion when the ring seemed to lose its power. Yet, in those difficult moments, John discovered the strength of the human spirit and the unwavering dedication of those around him. First, effort was essential on the path to success and happiness. John realized that every step forward required relentless determination, not just in times of ease but especially when facing adversity. The classes he organized for children, the help he provided to Mr. David's family, and the volunteer projects he led were all imbued with the value of effort. Success, John understood, wasn't a destination, it was the journey each person undertakes. Second, perseverance stood out as a recurring theme in every story he encountered. From Ava's struggles with life's hardships to Ethan's refusal to abandon his dreams despite his circumstances, John saw that perseverance wasn't just a means to overcome challenges but a way to build resilience and unwavering courage. No matter how many times one stumbles, as long as they refuse to give up, there is always a path forward. Finally, the most treasured lesson John learned was the power of love. He realized that love was the thread binding people together, the greatest motivator to strive for something better. In every activity he organized, in his relationships with family, friends, and his community, the most vital element was genuine warmth and care. John came to understand that love is never wasted, it brings joy and meaning not only to oneself but to everyone it touches. Through everything he had endured, John embraced a powerful message: with relentless effort, steadfast perseverance, and sincere love, life will undoubtedly open up new opportunities, new paths, and bring forth goodness. Each day, John continued to live and give, not just for himself but for his community. He didn't seek luck for his own sake but worked to spread it to everyone around him. His new life wasn't just a personal journey, it was a collective mission, a reminder that each person has the power to create positive change. And so, John's story doesn't end here. It unfolds into new chapters filled with meaning and purpose. He had learned that life's journey is an unpredictable adventure, but what truly matters is how we face it. By striving, persevering, and loving, we not only find but create genuine happiness for ourselves and those around us. Life is a gift, and John was determined to live it to the fullest, cherishing every moment and every opportunity to make it count.